7:24, mental health matters. And indeed, it really does. Really, really, when you consider everything that you go through, you have to take care of your mental health. And to really guide us in that regard, we welcome Johanse Ayodike, our behavioral change specialist. Every Thursday, I look forward to our discussions. And as always, good morning to you, Johanse. Welcome.
Morning, Jason, and morning to everyone who's viewing and listening.
Today's topic, interesting indeed, how to defeat procrastination. Now, I must say, in my household, growing up with Mommy June, you know, as a youngster, as a teenager, to motivate me and to kind of give me that pep on my step, there was a certain mantra, there was almost like a road march. She used to say procrastination is the thief of time. that embedded in my mind, like, you know, it's like she would always say that, and I'll try to get up and get. And so far, I think I would have done well, but yes, there are still things up to this day that I kind of always pause. As we say in local terms, you're sticking. You know, you have an idea, just kind of, it's just there now, but you're not getting to the next step to make it happen, to put the wheels in motion. My question, based on today's topic, how do we defeat, how could we conquer procrastination?
Firstly, is to understand exactly what procrastination is. You know, they're saying knowledge is power. So, of course, the more we know about something, the more power or ability we have to manage it. So, procrastination, simply put, is to delay an action. And as we truly say, you're sticking on something. And as Jason, you eloquently put that you grew up with, is the stealer or the thief of time. So, in order first to understand and to defeat it, we know exactly what it is. I am almost certain each one of us has procrastinated or continue to procrastinate on some task in our lives. So understanding now why you do it. So firstly, we have to accept the fact that all of us, now I don't know any perfect person, but all of us procrastinate about something. So each person should ask themselves now, why? Jason, give me a reason now, why do you procrastinate on a task?
I think sometimes there's a fear factor, you know, and as you would have said to me on a previous installment of the Mental Health Matters, people fear sometimes things that even happen as yet. So they have no reason really to fear. It's kind of like you're already projecting a kind of negative outcome to something you didn't even try just yet. So yeah, that's why sometimes I would stick on something, because you start to think about it more and you say, boy, next thing I might bounce my head, boy. So best I just hold a pause. Isn't procrastination sometimes a good thing, just holding a pause to feel it out? At what point does the holding the pause, sticking, procrastinating, go into a kind of negative index? Because I would imagine holding a pause is important for certain things. You can't just rush into everything, right?
Right, and it's not a pause or a moment to analyze is different from a delay. Right? A delay means you're holding it back. The train's supposed to be already going, the bus supposed to be already going, the plane's supposed to be already going, but there's a delay, meaning that it's not natural. It's blocking the natural flow of things. And one way, this is not scientific, but one way that we know when we're procrastinating, we feel it to know. There's a difference between sitting and analyze something. You know, you're taking time to analyze, to put all the facts together, but then there's a point where you know you're supposed to act, but you just something holding you back, as you say, our imagination. We imagine, most cases, the worst case scenario of where maybe we need to talk to someone about something. So we imagine the worst reaction. We have a task we need to do. We imagine how mammoth and how long it may take and how difficult it may be. And then because of that, now we have an emotional reaction to that imagination of difficulty. And then we delay. Then we choose to do something else that seems easier. Then we choose to do something that maybe is an avoidance of this difficult task. And then now we're in the zone of procrastination.
Let me ask you, because you keep on saying the word task, and I understand it from that particular perspective, but can one also procrastinate based on a relationship with someone? So let's take, for example, the folks engaged for 4 to 5 years. You're in an engagement going on 5 years. The folks in a relationship and somebody dropping a hint and like you just don't want to take it to the next level now. You're holding a strain or a job opportunity, something that is right up your alley, and people saying, you know, apply, and it just, you know, can you, what's the full scope of procrastination? Is it based on, is it task-based, or can it also be on a relationship basis?
So let me clarify, and I'm glad you brought that up. Instead of task, let's call it on a choice basis. You have choices to make, and you're procrastinating or delaying making the choice. And of course, we know human behavior is thought, feeling, into action. So of course, if you're delaying on a choice, therefore it will come out that you're delaying on an action. So even in a relationship, one, sometimes if you know you don't want to do something, you will delay on it, and which means that you don't really want to do it. So it's not that you're lazy or not that you're maybe even thinking the worst of it. The fact is you don't want to do it. So therefore you procrastinate, and that could apply to many different spheres. So you have a business opportunity, a job opportunity. The truth is you don't want it, even though everyone around you think you should have it, or the logical thing is you should do it, but you of yourself in the relationship, either you don't want to make the next step or you don't want that job.
Very interesting, because I know there are those who, you hear of, you know, friends and you listen to situations where people are in relationships, sometimes having a child. That's a discussion where some people plan it out, and one partner is ready, the next partner just not ready as yet. And sometimes people delay. You know, you hear of engagements, people wanting to take it to the next level. You hear of opportunities for folks to migrate, you know, everything in place, green card in place, family up there, they're calling for you, but you just, you know, you can't make it to the airport. There's something holding you back. So I think people would have their different reasons. But my question is, procrastination, is there any kind of positive outcome at all, or is it more or less a kind of a dead-end road?
All right, well, in anything, maybe we could squeeze a silver lining out of it, but mostly it's a dead end road. So let me squeeze a silver lining out of procrastination. Procrastination helps you realize what you want to do and what you don't want to do. Because if you're procrastinating on something, most likely means you don't want to do it. One, procrastination also helps you identify some negative thought patterns you may have. So let's say you have a task and you're thinking it's the hardest thing, you can't figure it out. Procrastination can help you identify maybe a methodology wrong. Maybe you need to think about a new pattern, a new way of thinking. So I would say mostly procrastination is a dead end, but it's, if you analyze your procrastination, it can help you learn a little more about yourself.
And ultimately, that would be the step to getting over that constant pattern and exercise of procrastinating. Because there are those people, I guess, that's just the personality, the nature, they keep on sticking on certain things. Great ideas, but...
Nah, I disagree with you there. That I don't think that is somebody's personality to procrastinate, because all of us face difficulties in different ways. And I'm sure I don't anybody in this earth who didn't procrastinate at least once in their life, for whatever reason that is. And difficulty is an important thing, because sometimes we use our imagination to come up with the most difficult or negative thing. And then, of course, we don't want to face it. Also, I'll add something here. Difficulty comes in many forms. So let me give you a quick example. Let's say you reach home from work, you come inside, you change, you bathe, you're relaxing, and then you remember, oh shucks, I have something in the car. You may think, oh gosh, boy, to get up, to do things, etc., to open the door, to put back on clothes, etc. I don't want to do it. So you procrastinate. So you say, nah, I'm not getting up to do it. No, that's because you're thinking of effort. Now, here's a nice hack. Think about it versus time. So time versus effort is a good way to overcome procrastination. So this is one thing that I do. So if I don't want to do a task, what I start to do is count the seconds it takes. So in reality, to put back on your clothes, to go outside, to go to the car, may take less than a minute, right? I look at it like that. So really and truly are using 35 seconds of time, 40 seconds of time versus thinking how difficult the task is.
Okay. Because the reason I was saying that earlier, I mean, Are there people who are prone to procrastinate? I mean, is this something that is almost like a culture? If it's around you, if you surround yourself with people who tend to procrastinate, would you become part of that, or is this really an individual journey?
I would say habit. The reality is whatever we grow up around, whatever we see, we would emulate. So if your parents, your guardians, whoever around you used to procrastinate, most likely you'll pick up some of those habits. Also, procrastination is based on your resiliency level. So if you grow up kind of soft, it's kind of spoiled, other people doing things for you, any difficulty, now, well, mommy will finish it for you, or daddy will finish it for you, you'll be more prone to procrastination, because if procrastination is overcoming difficulty, or at least the perception of difficulty, if you don't have that in you, then you'll be procrastinating all the time.
See, that last point you made, they're very solid, because they are, especially in this time, and finding that parents, if a parent could sometimes drop the child into the classroom and do the child's work for them, their parents were really you're overindulging really, and not giving the children a chance to truly make their own mistakes, to learn from it and to grow. And yeah, we're finding ourselves with adults who can't cope in this ever-changing and sometimes, well, not all the time, but sometimes mean world. So, solid point, very solid. I'll give you a chance to put your closing argument forward before we take the break.
Right. Procrastination is simply to delay a decision. And if you delay the decision, therefore you delay a task. A simple way to defeat procrastination is to look at time versus effort. Imagine how little time it could take. Also, don't use your imagination to come up with the most difficult thing. See if you could come up with a methodology that will reduce the difficulty of the task. Make life simple, because life is not easy, but it's really not that hard. Thank you for listening.
You want to say thanks as always. I look forward to our discussion next week, God's spare, for more inside the mental health matters. Have a great one. You be safe.
All right. Thanks, man, Jason. You too.
So we're going to come back with Joel Julian. He's going to join me on the line to dissect and break down this week's Business Guardian. Very interesting one. And I look forward to our discussion. That's coming up next. Bringing payments home. And we'll let you know about the comprehensive coverage for Budget Presentation 2022-2023. Up next.